Ah, yes, the Adventurer. Gotta be one of my favorite archetypes for real. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. The Adventurer, aka the Explorer, aka Puer Aeternus, is an archetype that embodies the spirit of limitless potential. It embraces a refusal to grow up in this cynical world that tries to nullify your childlike innocence and ambition. This archetype has an innate desire to find freedom and autonomy by exploring the world with the hopes of experiencing a life of fulfillment. Someone like this would like to make their mark on the world and would hate to feel trapped and conform to a world that they don't believe in. Aang is probably the most literal embodiment of the eternal child, as every second he spent inside of that ice cube, his duty and responsibility grew stronger. He showcases the charm and carefree attitude of the archetype, and since he's still mentally a child, even though he's over a century in age, he still does his best to avoid his responsibilities. Aang has to accept that the life he once lived and the people he once loved are long gone. Throughout the series, we grow with Aang as he matures and grounds himself with the help of his new friends to stand on business and save the world from the fascist Fire Nation.
Avatar Aang, I know that you're a gentle spirit, but this isn't about you. This is about the world.
In Gravity Falls, Mabel and Dipper Pines serve as dual mirrors of the Adventurer archetype. Mabel embodies the archetype through her relentless optimism, vivid imagination, and emotional spontaneity. Mabel's philosophy early on is, why work hard when you can play hard? Until she starts to finally believe the supernatural mumbo-jumbo that Dipper's been talking about. In contrast, Dipper reflects the explorer through his restless intellect and drive for adventure. I believe that Dipper saw invisible chains and shackles that were placed upon him due to him being a child, which kinda explains why he wanted to date an older woman, challenged authority, and had a strong interest in the supernatural that his peers saw as nerdy escapism. The twins ultimately grow closer throughout their journey, even though they're polar opposites. But seriously, go watch this show. It's a fever dream. How I've gone this long without ever talking about Adventure Time is beyond me, because it's one of my favorite shows, and Finn is one of my favorite characters because he's a protagonist who you can kind of see yourself in. He's young, dumb, and just wants to have fun, and he gets his dopamine hits from saving people and beating up bad guys. As he grows, he learns that the world isn't just black and white. There is nuance to everything and a middle ground that the vast majority of situations reside in. An example of this is when Finn found out that the predatory Ice King who kidnaps princesses and is addicted to scaring the Huz is revealed to be the only other human in the land of Oo. And Simon Petrikov became this weird sociopath by putting on a crown that slowly robbed him of his mind and his princess. Now a shell of himself, he searches for his missing piece. After understanding this, Finn was able to discover the art of nuance and look at bad guys with compassion. Whilst watching Adventure Time, you'll notice this change in Finn. He takes helping others more seriously, and even his villains become more malevolent, signaling to us that he's becoming a bigger man with bigger problems. I love the themes and philosophies that Adventure Time explores. There are so many different characters who all come together in this absurd world harmoniously. In the episode King Worm, we take a deeper dive into Finn's psyche as we journey through his dreamscape. We see that there's a part of him that still has love for Princess Bubblegum, even though she dubbed the heck out of him for being too young. And I guess he'd rather be PB's king on equal footing rather than her subordinate knight. And he low-key lets Flame Princess boss him around. Seems like he enjoys a woman with a fiery side. Him and Jake realize their dreams are linked and team up to stop the King Worm so they can wake up and not have their life force drained. Then they do think they woke up and realize that the duo's dreams aren't actually linked, but Dream Jake lets Finn know that the way to defeat the Worm King is by flooding the dreamscape with his subconscious fears. I love that this episode allowed us to unlock the vault that Finn locks away his fears that he deems as too powerful for him to defeat. But with the power of his fears, he defeats the King Worm that was feasting on his life energy. Finn's journey was a psychological descent into his subconscious. This adventure forces Finn to confront his shadow, aka the repressed anxieties and fears of abandonment that manifest as surreal distortions of his friends. His obsession with Princess Bubblegum acts as a projection of the idealized feminine image that the worm uses to keep him docile. which in turn suggests that Finn's growth would be healthier if he were to shift his validation inward. Furthermore, Finn's paralyzing fear of the ocean serves as a literal dread of being drowned by the unconscious, yet he achieves a breakthrough by intentionally wielding his fears to shatter the dream. Finn emerges from his nightmare and shows us that the most formidable monsters are those lurking within our own minds.
I try to keep my worries hidden, but where does that send them? To my kidneys? That can't be good.
Flapjack is a wholesome orphaned boy with a knack for adventure. He lives inside of a beloved whale named Bubby, who's a mammy caricature, meaning she's strict yet loving and willing to take care of a child who isn't biologically hers. His father figure is a grumpy old drunken misogynist who mistreats him, misguides him, and tries to groom Flapjack into becoming like him. Flapjack is an interesting version of the eternal child to watch, because as kids, we don't really notice how much his life sucks, and sometimes I see parallels between him and Finn, if Finn were to not have any form of moral guidance. Flapjack throughout the show does have a moral compass. He cares for the less fortunate and is slow to ever make anyone feel less than. He has an unhealthy attachment to Knuckles, who, in retrospect, has little to no redeeming qualities. A huge difference between this show and others on the list is that the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack has an episodic nature, so there really isn't much character development throughout the series. But in the episode Revenge, Knuckles takes advantage of Flapjack by convincing him to do his work to pay off all the tickets they've gotten for illegally parking Bubby. When another bum sees Flapjack doing Knuckles' work, he also tells Flapjack that swabbing the poop deck will make him a better adventurer. This enrages Knuckles because he doesn't want other people taking advantage of Flapjack and tells him that a true adventurer wouldn't let that slide. He'd get revenge for being made to look like a fool. Cap'n tells Flapjack to get back at his enemies because having ops is part of being an adventurer. Flapjack goes around Stormalong op shopping, but just regains more and more friends by inadvertently doing good deeds like stopping criminals, complimenting strangers, helping the disabled, feeding families, and overall being a W wingman. Flapjack doesn't want to be a nice, friendly guy because he thinks that's the antithesis to being a good adventurer. Lucky for him, after cleaning the ship, the chopped sailors can see their reflection in the ground and are disgusted by what they see. Then Knuckles gets his butt whooped. We literally skipped 10 seconds. But at least he ended up making an enemy out of Knuckles. I wanted to add Flapjack to this video because outside of Bubby, he is one of the only characters with a light that can't be dimmed.
I have no choice but to live on my own.
I do agree that the more you adventure the world, the more you'll learn about yourself and see how you fit into it. Maybe you weren't put onto the earth to be a villain. Some people are just inherently good. Flapjack teaches us to be the good that we want to see in the world. Oh, by the way, I did want to show you guys my shirts. It's low-key, gives me like, if you've ever seen the show Monk, that's what this reminds me of. The shirt is so hideous that it's clean though. But all this talk about adventure has me in the mood to go on an adventure of my own. Come along with me. We are outside. So we're currently up high in the mountains on an adventure. It's going pretty well. I need to take a seat. They're both doing good standing. Wow. Take a look at the scenery, man. It's just beautiful. Now what do you see?
There's other people on the hike.
Oh.
All the way up there.
Are they?
Still goes. I think we could get up there though.
That is them, yeah. That's the people who are all the way up there. Okay, guys. So this is how far we've made it. And this is where we're going up to. We want to get to like this spot right here.
People can see this. You see the sunset begin from here? Oh no, but the sun's over there.
We could still see it start to set though. So one thing that I think Gen Z could really benefit from is going out into the world, exploring it. As you explore the world, you'll find out more about yourself in the process. But right now, I'm just in a state of being, existing, pondering, and it's difficult to articulate, but I'm glad to be here. These fools are running like they got the car keys. But yeah, I'm really just enjoying being out in nature, enjoying God's creation.
The next day.
They went down that way. Does that look safe? They did it. I wouldn't do it. I don't know if it's just the extra melanin within me. My black behind, I couldn't do it. They're looking fly though. We see the fits. Yeah, so today is Easter. Happy Resurrection Day. Happy Easter. And I decided to go on a hike today. Can you believe it? Two hikes, one weekend. That's a first for me. But there's no right or wrong way to live this life, right? Who's to say you can't go on 2 hikes in a row? 2 hikes, 2 days in a row. Who knows? I could go on another hike right now. Yeah, this one's not as tough, except if I wanted to go all the way down there, which I did not. So therefore, I'm just taking it easy over here. Super cool. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Adventure, that's the life for me. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.